I'm Brittany, and I've been here for the past year working on a variety of projects. This semester I more so focused on environmental issues since that's my major at Concordia. So my first big project was creating this environmental impact report, and then just to kind of go through it with you guys, what I wanted to do was to kind of explain what organizations like HERO do for the environment, because a lot of times I looked at a lot of different groups and they talk about the social impact and they talk about the community impact, but none of them talked about the environmental impact. So ours, from what I found through my research, is actually one of the first ones to go into depth of how much you're helping your community. So for the first couple of pages, I kind of just did a overview of what HERO is, who we serve, what we do, and then I kind of jumped into exactly what we're doing in our environmental impact. One of the pages I looked at the total amounts donated from the different agencies in Fargo-Moorhead, and I tried to overall kind of focus my effort on what we're doing for Fargo-Moorhead rather than just kind of broad. I tried to make it more generalized. So I kind of made it visual. I have Fargo-Moorhead ambulances, and I compared the weight of how much we saved to how many ambulances that would be, so just to kind of relate it to a medical way. I also did just the general how we recycle redistribution, kind of like what we have on that board there. So I looked at that and to remind our readers, and then one thing that Margaret mentioned she really liked is I took different cities' populations and I kind of looked at their population compared to Fargo-Moorhead, how much we can save here, and then what they could save if they had a HERO. So by doing that math, I found that cities like Minneapolis could save 157 tons if they would do, what we do here, and it would probably be even more with more hospitals or with more agencies. So I thought that was kind of a really interesting part to this, and I found that places like Los Angeles with a really big population had over 1,000 tons or 1,500 tons, so it was kind of interesting to look at that. So I have that in here. And then the next section I kind of looked at just in general what it's doing by saving these items from landfills, like what on a broader scale, how we're helping. So for one of my sections, I kind of have a benefits area. I have how we conserve natural resources such as timber, water, and minerals. And by doing that, I kind of looked at how much energy it takes to, say, create the aluminum that goes into a wheelchair or that goes into crutches. And then by saving one wheelchair, what are we saving in whole? So that was kind of that section. I also looked at how we reduce the overall amount of waste. And again, I kind of use visuals to see that all the things that we saved from landfills would fill 6 garbage trucks just in this year. So I thought that was really interesting to kind of visually show that. And then just another general benefit we do is that by recycling all these items and not having to remake them, reprocess them, and redistribute them, it saves on greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide and methane. So that was the basis of my report. And you guys can find it online. It's on our new website, so you can look at that. Yep. And the second part of my project was going to St. Joseph's in Moorhead to do a Earth Week presentation. So we decided, we had around, 15 classes total, I think, ranging from pre-kindergarten all the way to 8th grade. So it was a very broad range. So I had to find a way to kind of branch it off into sections so that I'm not talking to 8th graders like I would a kindergartner. So I kind of divided into 2 main presentations, and then just adjusted as I went through the different classes. So for like the preschool, 1st grade, 2nd grade, I kind of had an overall objective to more so talk to them about Earth Day and why it's important and why it's a good thing to remember to recycle and a good thing to instill those values. And then I kind of moved on to how recycling through redistribution works and how HERO plays a part in that. So with like the kindergartens, we asked a lot of questions like, why is Earth Day important, and what do you like to do outside, and just kind of things to get them thinking about why it's important to be doing those things. We had them list activities such as recycling, using less water, walking more. And then with the younger groups, a lot of times we talked about personal experiences. We'd go into HERO and talk about what kind of items we saved. We brought out this a lot and kind of showed what medical items they would recognize and that they could relate to. And then we'd ask them if they've ever needed a Band-Aid, or if they could ever, if they ever needed crutches, and then tell us a personal story. And then we actually use this board a lot with the younger students. We'd take everything down with the arrows, and then to kind of explain how it works, we'd have them come up here, we'd have 3 students up there and kind of walk them through the cycle and help them understand kind of how, you know, that kind of recycling works, because it's not really a recycling they can relate to. Like we did talk about how, say they outgrow a shirt, and then they can give it to their younger brother or sister. So that's kind of the same thing when you don't need anything anymore, but you don't want to throw it away. So we use that board a lot with the younger groups. When it came to the older groups, we kind of, for the 1st grade through 5th grade, we asked those same questions, but as they got older, I expected more answers or more involvement from the groups, and they were really receptive. I think they really enjoyed it. They seemed to have a lot of fun in there, especially the younger kids could answer a lot more than I thought, because you think with maybe kindergartners they don't really know what recycling is, or they don't really like understand the importance of it, but a lot of them did. And we actually had them, as one of the last activities, we had them kind of create a get well card that we were actually going to give away with different things that people buy here, to just, we had some kind of funny ones that we set out just to kind of help the people who read them feel better, because we explained that people who come here sometimes are sick, or you know, they need extra help. So there's some pretty cute ones that they made for us. With the older students, I figured they already knew what Earth Day was, and they understood the importance and the different benefits that they can get from helping the environment. So we focused more on actually Hero and what Hero does, and Margaret actually talked a lot more about how we help globally and how we help, you know, in that sense. And then we had this presentation. I can just go through it quickly with you guys. I kind of based this presentation off the report I did, because I figured they'd be able to understand it better and actually get through the benefits. So you can go to the next one, if it works.
There we go.
And you can click through them. So we kind of explained this to the older students, just how it works, why it's important, and like I said, the global and local measures of it. And then, like in my report, we went through the benefits, and I explained, like I said, how we're using aluminum. It's a difficult process to mine that and to process it, and it uses a lot of energy and a lot of water. So kind of explained that in that way, why it's important. I showed them the different, this is something that can happen because of landfills if it's not properly taken care of. It's something called leach it, and can pollute the water, and we kind of just talked about why that's, you know, dangerous for communities and dangerous for families, and the different gases that come from landfills. And then I showed them that picture, that same one I had in my report. And then we talked a lot about global climate change and how recycling in this manner you know, reduces that, and why it is important. So I thought the older students were pretty receptive to this kind of presentation. We didn't have them make cards. We actually had it set up for the 6th graders because we weren't sure. You know, it's kind of hard to remember what you did in 6th grade. So we had to set up around the room, and as they came in, we heard them, oh, crayons, we get a color, like, yay! So then we kind of nixed that idea. Let's not do that. So we only had the younger students make those. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and they seemed, so I was actually surprised by a lot of students. I'd ask questions like, you know, what are the greenhouse gases? Or, you know, can you give me specific things about why it's important? And they were really receptive to it, and they knew it pretty well. So I was surprised. Yeah, those are my 2 main projects. And we actually had a request to do a couple more presentations, but because it was at the end of my semester and I was super busy with school, we weren't able to fit them in. But hopefully next semester or next year around Earth Week, you guys can do a couple more with the other interns. So yeah, it was good.
Awesome.
They went well.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for all of that. That was great.
Yeah, very good.
And besides that, Brittany was always a backup for answering the phone and helping up front, and so you really did a broad range of things for Hero. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you guys for having me again. It's a lot of fun.
Good luck to you in the future.